How do you quit your 9 to 5 and enter the freelance world without losing everything you have? I know it's easier said than done, but it's a lot of it is psychological. So let's get into it. Let's start with the truth. The 9 to 5 stability that your parents grew up with is gone. Inflation shattered it. And I'm not saying that to sound like everybody else. I know it's like a buzzword, it's trending, but let's be serious about this. Because every day I wake up, it's a new headline, it's a new person that I know whose job doesn't feel as secure as it did before. You got AI eating jobs, companies that used to feel like a lifetime home, treating people like disposable parts. Crazy thing, can't even blame the companies because they're facing uncertainties as well. So let's get into this now. This is not fear-mongering. This is just simply the economy that we're living in. Take a look around. If you don't believe me, take 2 seconds to look it up. Google, Meta, Amazon, tens of thousands laid off in waves since 2023, a little bit before that. Entire teams with 20 years of experience gone overnight. Look at Kaiser Permanente, or however you pronounce it. Cleveland Clinic, Providence Health. These companies are they're undergoing massive medical layoffs, including nurses who thought their jobs were recession-proof. Now, the nurses, I gotta call some of them out. Not all of them. I don't want to, throw all of them in the same bag. But we all know that one nurse who's like, yeah, I got my nursing degree. I'm good. I got this thing. I'm a nurse. I can't be fired. I'm good. Hey, well, shout out to all the nurses because they do God's work. But at the end of the day, it's even coming for them. Tech engineers. I feel like tech is old news. We've been watching people in high positions in the tech field get thrown out since like 2023. That one was crazy. So, when tech is on the chopping block, I think we got a problem. Even veteran attorneys at big firms pushed out because AI now drafts first pass briefs real quick. Construction supervisors with 15 years on site replaced because the company merged and restructured. And that's crazy because when construction starts dabbling with AI, we got a problem. The world is shifting. Now look, a lot of people enter positions not out of passion, just out of security. Oh, I'm going to get this thing, or I'm going to get this license, or I'm going to get this degree, but just out of security. And when that goes, we're walking into some serious problems. And I'm only bringing that up because, of course, I'm going to give you my solution. I don't know everything. I just know what I know. Number one, the real reason why people stay stuck. Because there's something that you could do to get out of these situations. Not everybody, but a lot of people can break off from that matrix, that 9 to 5. Don't wait to be on the chopping block. You can do it. But the reason why a lot of people stay stuck is because nobody wants to admit that they're not afraid of freelancing. They're afraid of losing status. That car they financed to look cool, the apartment they overpaid for to feel established. I've been there way too many times. Friends who validate their identity from high positions, and that comfort that masks their lack of freedom. But here's the brutal truth. If you want to survive in this new era, you have to kill your ego before that job kills your security. You got to get rid of the ego. Number two, you have to rewire how your brain thinks about loss. Like, how do you process what loss is? Because sometimes what you think is loss is not really loss. Take a day, and I highly advise that you travel through your own city. Go to the areas that aren't the hood, but aren't necessarily the dream areas that you're so accustomed to. Why? Why would anybody do that? Because you need to train your mind to understand something critical. You're not downgrading your life, you're shedding the weight so you can run further. And do it now while you still have a chance. This is the biggest shift. The world is changing faster than your comfort zone, and you need to keep up with it. I can't stress that any further. If you cling to looking successful, you'll end up being last in line to change your life and get what you actually want. So you'll end up being the most unsuccessful, and your brain won't even know how to adapt because you never even processed this. So start processing this from now. Be ready to shed some fat and run further. Part 3. Everyone thinks they're safe until they're not. Now, here's some real life examples. There was a 32-year-old ICU nurse in Colorado that went from being full-time nurse in the ICU to unemployed because, hospital just decided that they're going to go with telehealth automation, whatever AI automation telehealth thing that is. And boom, out. Here's another one. A senior software developer at Spotify got cut during restructuring. And mind you, this was somebody who was employee of the year 2 years in a row. An accountant in Chicago with 15 years under his belt just got replaced because, they decided to adopt AI in bookkeeping. They got some kind of AI bookkeeping service that just replaced an accountant. How is that even possible? A construction superintendent in Phoenix got tossed after a merger and couldn't find work for 7 months. I'm sure he'll be good, but he can't get those 7 months back. That's the point. These are not minimum wage workers we're talking about. These are people with degrees, certifications, experience, and they still got blindsided. So if it can happen to them, why do you think you're immune? Nobody's safe. Part 4. Here we go. This is your blueprint to your freelance freedom. Detach from possessions that are draining you. That car isn't security. Understand that. That car you have, it's a liability. Now, I'm not one of these people who's going to tell you to ride around in a 25-year-old beat-up Honda, because I understand appearances are very important, but it's not your identity. So just understand you might have to compromise a little bit. Don't go extreme. Don't ride the 25-year-old beat-up Honda, but you might have to compromise a little bit. Cut your comfort zone in half, then cut it again. Comfort is the enemy of adaptation. Straight up. I don't know how else to put it. I can't sugarcoat it. Lower your lifestyle so your ambition can rise. When you're flexible, you're dangerous. When you're expensive, when you got a whole bunch of nonsense that's just draining your wallet, you're actually trapped. Okay? And get okay with not feeling successful every day, but feelings are just that, your feelings. But what's real is something separate. Number 5, this is the new era. This era belongs to the people who move early, who take initiative. The ones who recognize, the shift and repositioning before they're forced to. Please don't wait for that job to be the ones to put you on Front Street. I'm going to just say that. Okay, we're not talking about becoming a millionaire overnight. We're not talking about, just waving a magic wand and your whole life changing. But at the end of the day, I'm talking about being self-reliant. We're talking about being able to fend for yourself in a world that's changing faster than any job title could keep up with. Straight up. Ultimately, whatever you're doing, I want you to look at what you do for a living, or look at the skills that you know that you have that you could do, and start thinking about, how can I monetize this without a job, or without this routine job that I'm clocking in with? And even freelancers, if you only have one big major client, it's time to start branching out. I don't have, the magic key. I can't tell you exactly what business to start or what to do, but just look at what you're already doing and look at the skills that you have and start thinking about how you can monetize it on your own. And what I'll say is this, right? You don't have to do this overnight. But what you should do is, if you have a 9 to 5, maybe start taking side gigs here and there that don't interfere with your job, just to get into the habit of it. And once you start making money, do it more often, and then eventually transition if you see that iceberg coming. With that being said,